I said, I think I'm onto something here. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be without it. It did wonderful things for me.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome to Sacred Matrix, a divine paradigm of love and universal consciousness, with your host, Janet Kira Lessin and Dr. Sasha Lessin.
Together, we transform the world.
And now, here are your hosts, Janet Kira and Dr. Sasha Lessin.
You are live.
Hello, everybody. Please stay in the background. Mute. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Janet Kira Lessin, and this is the Sacred Matrix, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Sasha Alex Lessin. Our producer is Thomas Becker, also known as a Mad Painter. And our guest is Carlo S. Carnevalini.
Yes.
I'm trying to get this. Hi. Well, hold on. I'm going to introduce you, and I'm just trying to get I have a pop-up. Pop-up, go away. I'm trying to mute my other mic. Okay, so Carlo was born in Managua, Nicaragua in 1962. At 5 years old, he had his first extraterrestrial experience with short grays on his grandparents' farm, which is called Los Chaguites. His paranormal and extraterrestrial encounters continued throughout his youth and into his teen years, with most of his family and friends belittling or debunking him for such strange stories. After a civil war broke out in Nicaragua, Carlo escaped to Los Angeles, California in 1979, but his experiences followed him there. He had both dark visions of demons and devils, as well as epiphanies of angels and the divine creator, both of which deeply affected his devout Catholic upbringing. He married and moved to Miami, Florida, and his disturbing experiences continued with visits to motherships, etheric dimensions, and unknown planets. So I have a lot more about Carlo, along with pictures and his new book, Into the Dimensions, the description and his cover. And I invite you to go to aquarianradio.com and check out more information on Carlo. Dr. Lessin, are you there? Sound check.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, that's horrible. Let's try that again. Hi. Say that again.
That again.
Hi. That again. Okay. We were getting a lot of...
That again.
Okay. So you're there. Hi, honey. So, okay. What do you want to say about today's show?
Well, I have a huge interest in Nicaragua and the area, and I'm really curious because if any of your experiences were with mind and souls.
And honey, you have to shut off a computer or something because you're getting very bad connection. Just shut down your other computer.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have more bandwidth. Okay, cool. Okay, Carlo, welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us today. And we'd like to have you start with telling us about your experiences, and we'll talk for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll ask you some questions. So take it away, Carlos.
Okay, how you doing, everybody? Thank you for inviting me to your show.
We're doing great. We're in Maui, Hawaii, and are you in Los Angeles right now, or where are you coming to us? Are you in Miami?
Yeah, in San Bernardino, California.
Okay. Well, go ahead and start with your story. We're all ears.
Okay. Since I can remember, before even 5 years old, I remember I started hearing voices calling my name from a distance. And I remember I used to go to my mom because I knew that was something. I was a child, but I understood that wasn't normal. That people was calling my name. And I look everywhere and I didn't see anyone. So I will come to my mom and tell her, you know what? I hear my name being called. And my mother will say, well, these are leprechauns. They can, if you listen to their voice and you go wherever they are, they will capture you and take you away from me. So don't even listen to those voices. And I don't know why my mom took it so lightly. I kept hearing the voices for years. And not every day, although it was once in a while. And they were calling my name. And it was like, I was worrisome about it because I knew it wasn't normal. And
do you think she may have had experiences, and so she knew what was going to happen if you wandered off? Do you think maybe she too experienced things like that?
Yeah, I think my mom is an experiencer. I know that over the years. But she doesn't want to recognize it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you need to have your feet on the ground. That's the kind of attitude my mom is. A serious person. She has a little sense of humor. And my dad was the kind of guy that he was a clown. Like I am a clown too, like my dad. But he was a person who will not accept something out of this world. And he was a kind of person that he could be a clown, but also he had his feet on the ground. And that's what he said. And he will never allow any one of his children talking about the subject. And, later on, when I started writing my book, I started telling my brothers and my sister, that what happened when I was a kid. And they told me that they also experienced paranormal stuff, but they deny it and they didn't talk about it. So,
right. It usually runs in families.
Yeah. And, it became normal after a few years to me that I will not talk about it because it was a subject that will not be allowed in the house. We were raised Catholics and we were very, into our faith. Very involucrated in the faith, so we will not allow it. The family will not allow it. I was very curious all the time because I was the kind of kid that even though I was scared about things, I wanted to get to the things, to the bottom of things. And I was like one of those. Did you ever say that again?
You're breaking up, honey. Say that again. You're going to have to hang up and call back into the show, honey.
Tell the priest in your confession about the... Did you ever tell it to the priest when you went to confession?
Oh, I see. No, I was never there to say anything like that to the priest. I was a kid, I thought that I was imagining all in my head, and I don't think the kid will... a kid will have. I wouldn't say those things to the priest. I will not. At first I didn't have the age to confess because you start confessing after you have the first communion, and that's when you are 10, 11 years old. Usually, and so I will not go to the priest and confess nothing because I wasn't allowed yet because I didn't have my first communion yet.
Well, tell me about your first extraterrestrial experience. Did you Did you see them? Did they take you on the craft? What happened that very first time when you were 5? When
Sure.
you saw them?
Yeah. I was at my grandmother's farm, spending the Easter week, the Holy Week at her farm, probably about 20 minutes away from my home. And that area was secluded. It was nearby the airport in Managua, and there were just a few families that live in that area. It was a wooden area, and I will spend my vacations there, but I haven't spent my vacation. That was my first time before my experience. That was the first time I had these voices calling me too. You know, I heard these voices calling me, and I was at the farm, and one day, one of the nights before I returned home, because I spent like a whole week, I was about 5.5 years old. I have this experience where I will walk out of the house and I will walk into another dimension. And I was a child, but I understood that I was into like another world, you know, like Alice in Wonderland, exactly like that. You walk.
What was it like? What was the other dimension like? What was it like?
Well, it was
down and be there.
It was the same dimension. The only difference was the feelings. You know, the feelings in your body, the feelings in your mind. Mm-hmm. Everything was in slow motion. Everything, and everything was illuminated. You know, I mean, not illuminated like the sun, but it was illuminated in a way that you can see everything, even though it was dark. You know what I'm saying?
I've had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Still, and that's.
I'm going to switch places with you and get you reconnected better. We can't hear you, Sasha. We can't. We can't hear you, Sasha.
Was part of Managua.
We can't make out what you're saying, honey. I'm going to come and fix that. Keep talking, Carlo, while I don't fix his connection, okay? I'll be right back. I'll fix his connection, but you keep talking. Tell us your story.
Okay, so I walked into another dimension, and as a child, I didn't understand what was going on, but I knew something was amiss. I knew that wasn't a regular event in my life. I never had experienced it before. And the other dimension is exactly the same dimension where you're living. It's just a parallel universe. Is what I understand now. And so I walked out of the house, and right there and then I was into another dimension, which is the same dimension. It's just the feeling. Time goes slow, really, really slow, and your skin and your body go into these traumatic sensations that make you see life in a different light. And so when I was out of the house, I noticed that there were some images behind the chicken coop. The chicken coop was like about 5 meters, 10 meters away from the house, something like that. And they were making this noise like when there is a fox nearby that's trying to attack them. And I was like paying attention, and I say, what's going on there? I was like wondering, what is it that is going on? They have the chicken worried, you know, and fear. And as I am looking at it, at the house, at the chicken coop, I'm putting my flashlight into that direction, and I see these ghostly images that illuminate. They have this illumination coming out of their bodies. And exactly like that movie Cocoon, remember those beings that they were
right. Mm-hmm.
But not as illuminated as those in the movie, but they had this illumination in them. And then I thought to myself, this is impossible. That's Casper the Friendly Ghost. And I knew I was a child, but I said, I know this is not possible. This is not real. And, but you know how a child mind accepts quickly. And it's not like adults that we start asking all these questions and we start disbelieving immediately. No, you cannot accept it at the beginning, but then you slowly understand. and you accept the fact that there is something else and that is real in front of you. And that's what
were they speaking to you in a language or in concepts? How did you hear them? Were they communicating with you?
No, they were
point?
No, they were not communicating with me. They had only this stare. They were staring at me. They were staring and they were floating up above the dirt. 'Cause they have a dirt floor over there outside, of course, by the chicken house and all that. It was dirt. All of it was dirt, and they were floating above it like ghosts, just exactly like you see a ghost that is floating above the earth, above the earth, the dirt. And
right.
And then that's when I noticed that I start floating myself. Also, I start floating, and I look up because I knew I was going up, and I was like really, really scared. My body started trembling, and I remember that I pee myself there, and I can feel it going through my legs, the warmth, and then it became really cold, and I was like going up into the air. That's when I saw the moon on top of the house. Like the full moon was on top of the house, like an object, that, to me it was the moon. I didn't know that it could be a spacecraft or something. It was so illuminated and so huge, and it was right on top of the house. And what I did was just to accept it, and I didn't have anywhere to go. And after that, I don't remember what happened. Yeah, after that, I don't have any recollection.
Have you ever explored that under hypnosis to recover the parts that you're missing?
You know that I never wanted to go under hypnosis, but I was fearful of what I can find because I already knew people was going under hypnosis. And I said, no, I don't want to do it. But, time came when I was old enough to accept my reality. And I have a friend who recommended hypnotherapy person, and I went, and I didn't need for this person to put me down under hypnosis. I immediately my mind was like immediately I started sinking in there into the stories, and I almost got a heart attack at the center, at the office of this person, where all my feelings and everything, my emotions came out, and she had to stop the whole thing, the whole section. And after that, it didn't work anymore. But I saw everything with my...
Oh, wow.
What emotions came out?
Those emotions that I told you when I was being lifted up in the air.
Fear.
Yeah, the fear. Yeah, I was like in total chaos and fear. And not only that, because when I went to the hypnotherapist, I already had all these experiences, hundreds and countless of experiences where it wasn't just what happened when I was a kid. It happened that I have 40 years of repression, in my mind. I had repressed all those memories. And they just burst out when she started putting me under. I didn't have the need for her to count from 10 to 1 when I was already in there, And I started, everything came out at once.
Wow.
Yeah, your subconscious was very anxious for even the permission to go there. So then it was ready to start. See, I'm a lifelong experiencer as well. And I'm probably older than you. I'm 65. Yeah, I was born in 54. And I've learned now to look at it objectively and not have that fight or flight, base fear reaction. But it did take looking at it and just working through it. It takes a while, but I've, and many other people have, but that is the initial response is fear. But even Whitley Strieber talks about that, how you can get past the fear. So I invite you to do that someday. Maybe there's somebody that can handle to get you through the fear a little bit better than the person you were working with. They might not know how to do it.
Yes, I already started working on that.
You know what I would wonder is the milieu in which you were having the experiences and the terrible things in Nicaragua, and how that affected you in your life, and how that affected the extraterrestrials who were witnessing this.
You're talking I missed that part. You're talking about the Civil War?
Yes.
Oh, the Civil War was years after.
Way after.
My story that I'm telling you, that when I can remember, because I know they started before I was 5, but when I can remember everything was after 5.5 years, almost 6, and that was in the 1960s. And the Civil War was in 1978. It started in 1978 and ended in 1979. So that was like a long space between one and the other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
But it had to be something that happened earlier. Yeah.
I'm not sure why you have the worst connection today. That's horrible.
Way earlier than that.
Hey, honey, just come in here and we'll share my mic because we can't hear you. Just come in here. We can't hear you because we'll share my mic. Okay? Honey,
yeah.
Just come in here. We'll share the mic. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll get him. All right, so we can't hear what he's saying, but I'll just continue and I can figure out. Okay, here he is. Hold on. We're going to put you on the speaker here. 1 second. Hold on. Okay, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're just going to both listen on this speaker here. He's got a very bad connection for some reason today. All right, so go ahead. Say what you were saying, because we couldn't hear a word you were saying. It was all garbled. Say it again, what you were saying about the...
I don't remember what I was saying, but it's what we know is that it's so important to respect the part of you that says, "Don't go there." And it will destabilize you too much, and you're not ready for it yet, and to not be pushed past that point.
Yes.
And so I understand totally that you got to do it at your own pace.
That's true. That is real true. Yeah.
All right. So your first major event was when you were 5. What was your second event that you remember? What was the situation? What was going on?
Yes. Then I had other experiences that I consider otherworldly experiences. When I came here into the United States, I escaped the Civil War. They killed my best friend. I was destroyed inside. My heart was broken. The day before I left the country, they killed my best friend. They shot him with a MK, and there was my best friend, another girl that was my best friend. Her little brother got shot and killed also, and savagely assassinated. And I have all these traumas in my head, and I told my parents, you know what, I can stand this life. I don't want to die at the hand of these assassins, and I want to leave the country. And my parents were really embarrassed because they already have sent my older brothers to a cousin's home in California. And they said, well, we'll see what she says. We're going to call her and find out. And I said, I don't care if I don't have to go to California, I can go to any other country. And I was about 15 years old, and I told them I can go to any other country. I don't care as long as I leave this country. I don't want to die here, and my life will not mean anything. So they sent me to the States because my cousin accepted to receive me in her home, which she didn't have any space at all, but she was kind enough to accept me. And I came to the country, and I came here, and I felt so secure and safe. and I was so happy. My life completely changed. And then I was abducted in the, later, then I moved away from that house because we were too many people already there. And my older brother got himself a job, and he told me, you want to move with me into my apartment? And I accepted quickly, of course. I want to move with you. I don't want to be a bother in this family. And I had an abduction there where I was totally aware, where the other times before I was in a trance. And this time I was totally awake. It was in midday, and I remember everything from beginning to end. And that was like really, really amazing. I had this amazing experience that I thought to myself, how can a person like me, somebody so small, somebody so nothing, how can I have this major, amazing, incredible and wonderful experience in my life? You know what I'm saying? That nobody talk about it. Maybe a lot of people have it, but they don't talk about it. But I had it, and I want to talk about it.
So what happened?
Yeah, what happened? Break it down for us. What happened?
Yes, I started feeling these sensations like I do at night when I was attacked. Well, I say attack because, you know, it's like an attack. You are asleep, and then you feel that you go into this other dimension immediately, you know. And I started feeling these emotions that I only felt at night when it was dark and nobody was around, and it was midday, and I started feeling the same sensations and all that. And all of a sudden I was taken. I was taken in a whirlwind that you cannot see, but you can feel it. And as soon as I was lifted up, I remember I was lifted up from I was like relaxing in my bed. It was midday, but I was like relaxing because I was tired or something. And I said, I'm going to relax for a moment. And all of a sudden I go into these emotions, and boom, I'm taken up. And I don't remember the part when I'm taken up because it's like I black out, and then I woke up immediately. And as I'm waking up, when I wake up, I'm in this big, huge warehouse-like room, amazingly giant. And I'm like a little thing there walking in that big, huge room. And I remember that I was totally naked, no shoes, nothing, but I had this thing on top of me, you know, this kind of like a blanket or something that protected me from not being naked. And I remember I said, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I ever experienced in my life. I'm walking through these marble floors, but these marble floors were the most beautiful surface I ever walked on ever in my life. And I'm walking up there and looking around for every single thing. At that moment, I haven't realized where I was. And all of a sudden, I felt this hand grabbing me. And immediately, as soon as it grabs me, it says, don't look at me. And I said, oh my God, what is this? So I was like really frightening at that moment. But then the fear dissipated, and I became very trusting this being, that I felt that it was a huge being, you know, like very tall, like 3 times probably my size. And at that time I was 16 years old. And, but I felt so small, so little. I felt like a 4-year-old kid. And, next to this
you see the
being,
being?
I saw that being. You asking me?
Yeah. Did you see the being?
I saw the being.
Did you see
with
him?
With the corner of my eye. I didn't see the being because he told me not to see him. And when you are in that position, you listen. It's not like you are a human being with a free will. It's like when you listen and you really respect that. You know what I'm saying? From your heart. So the guy told me not to look at him, and I didn't look at him. I didn't have the need, but since you know how humans are, curiosity and all that, with the sound of the voice is what I look with the corner of my eye. Where is this sound coming from? Because I didn't know if it was coming from the sky, from up or down. I wasn't positive. I wanted to know exactly where this voice was coming from. And that's when I noticed the huge hand and the big body, you know, the big being. a white being, totally white, albino like white, and it was huge. And that's all I remember. The hand was a human hand. It's what I can kind of saw. I kind of saw the hand.
Same fingers, same amount of fingers.
That's what I can tell you. It was 5 or 6 or 7. I remember that it was a human hand. Like, I don't remember I don't remember any extra fingers or nothing. I just remember it was a human-like hand that he put it on my shoulder, to make me feel that I was safe, with him there.
So you felt safe.
Yeah, conveyed a good feeling in the hand.
Say that again?
The hand conveyed a safe feeling to you.
Yes. I felt that I didn't hear the voice, but it's an understanding when you go into this. I have the experience that when I go into these experiences that are out of ordinary, it's an understanding that it comes to you and it says, trust this person, trust this being, trust whatever you're doing, trust this voice, and you feel this calm in your body, your heart. Everything has the same tune. So you don't feel unsafe. You don't feel confused. You don't feel, you feel safe. So you listen and you listen careful. And then when I felt that way, I started paying attention to detail. I was paying attention to everything around the room, whatever, without moving my head. I said, I have to see something here. I know I have to pay attention. That's what I remember saying in my head. I have to look for details. I have to see things. And I was like paying attention. And you know what? I have a big, huge screen in front of me with the earth, overlooking the earth, and the whole world was in front of me and I wasn't even looking at it. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's like you don't care about nothing, just whatever you are being told. Like a machine, like a robot. You don't look around. I was looking just whatever I have near me, but I wasn't looking in front of me where the whole world was right there in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And then this being
said, were you in space? Do you think you were in space looking at the earth?
Yes, I think I was in space. I was up in space above the earth at an angle where I can see the whole earth. So I was like very, very far in distance because I can see the whole world there, the whole thing. Not
round?
Huh?
Was the earth round?
Yeah, round earth, yes. Round earth. I cannot see.
We have a earth.
Yeah, I heard about people saying that it's a flat earth, but I didn't see no flat earth. I saw a round earth. But what I cannot say is that I saw a balloon kind of earth. I cannot say that I saw a balloon earth. I know that it was round, but I can't say that I saw the map of America and then Africa and Europe in the same spot. I didn't see it. I remember that I saw America. I saw America the way it is. And that's what I remember. Mm-hmm.
So it was this planet and not another planet, so that's good. So then what else happened? Do you remember anything else after the hand and seeing the earth and the ship inside the ship?
Yes. I remember that I was like a computer. I remember that my mind started accepting this data, information, from this being, from things that happen on earth. But the funny thing that happened to me is that your mind elevates in another level. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a child, that when I had that experience, my first experience, and I was elevated. At first, these beings, they didn't talk to me, but when I was elevated, they did talk to me. But they talk to me in a way that not like you and I are talking right now. They don't communicate like we do. They communicate like whatever I had in my head is yours to share with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Totally telepathic.
Say that again?
total telepathy, totally telepathic, and mostly in concepts rather than words. That's how I get it.
Or pictures.
I get concepts, pictures, words. No, not really words per se, but my mind tries to translate, but they're giving me entire concepts.
Yes, that is correct. When I was a child, I remember they told me that they were not my enemies, that they were friends, and that I should calm down, and nothing was going to harm me or things like that. That's what I remember. So I did calm down, but even up to now, I have countless of experiences, but still my body starts shaking, like I am. How do you say, like I'm gonna get a heart attack? That's how my body starts shaking. It's like I'm used to it already. I know I'm not gonna go into any harm. I know they're not gonna do anything to me, but it's like I'm gonna have a heart attack because my body can't take it. Can't assimilate that I have this communication with beings from another world.
Do you know how to lower your blood pressure and slow your heart? Carlo, if you make your exhales longer than your inhales, deliberately make your exhales a couple of seconds longer than your inhales. Within 3 minutes, everything will slow down.
Well, this is what happened to me when I go under these experiences. I start breathing hard, it's not like I'm doing it myself. It's like I've been programmed to do it, like breathing in and out fast, and I hear this language in my head that I don't understand with my human mind, but I do understand with my consciousness. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then I go under this. It's like an injection. Well, let me tell you this story. One day I woke up in the middle of the whole action, but before I wake up, I was told it's not going to hurt. And I said, what is it not going to hurt? And I wake up. And then I can't move my arms or my body. I'm stuck in my bed and I'm looking at it. And I see this spider, a mechanical spider coming out of the air conditioning grills. And I hear the little clicks. Yeah, I hear the little clicks walking on the wall. And it got into my neck and it stung me with something. And yeah, and it did hurt. I say they told me it's not going to hurt, but it hurt. And then I was like really upset because they told me it's not going to hurt. Don't worry about it. And then it hurt. And I started feeling this.
They lied.
Yeah, I know. But then I started feeling this liquid going through my body, like I started feeling my body was feeling the reaction of the liquid. And all of a sudden my body raised up from my bed, and I'm up in the ceiling, on the roof, in the inside, the ceiling, and I am right up above there, and that's when I black out. But when I wake up, I'm going through this tunnel of lights, and I can feel my skin being flat out of the speed, because I was speeding up in this wormhole kind of tunnel. And then I black out again, and then I come back into a spaceship where I had another body. I didn't have this body. So I have experiences where I'm in this body, and sometimes I'm not in this body.
We've heard that before, actually. So it's interesting. It seems like your aliens have a different technology. We've heard about, what was it, Robert Perella. He talked about the wormhole type. Not everybody has the same system of, traveling that you're experiencing. So, did you ever have any conversations with them? Did they say who they are, like Andromedans or Graves, or did they ever reveal to you who they are and their purpose?
Yes, I had a conversation, with with the grays, which they're not gray, only one time I had this experience with the grays where I saw them and they were gray, but the rest of the time they were not gray. They were albino skin. They were completely white, and they looked the same. It's just that they were completely white. And they only talked to me like giving me orders, like, don't worry, trust me, it's not going to hurt, but it always hurts. And things like that, like commands is what they give me. But later on, years later, I have this experience with this hybrid gray female. You know that they say that they're sexless, they don't have any sex, blah blah blah. They're not like male and female, but they are. I don't know what, but I understand that some of them are female and some of them are male, and that's what I know. When I'm in front of them, I know who's a male and who's a female, even though they look exactly the same, to me. And so I had this conversation with this being that a hybrid, perhaps, and she looked like a gray, but she was white, like I said, and she gave me this huge information about the earth to understand more about what is being human, about what is it that we need to do in this world, why is it that we are so screwed up. And especially she talked mostly about the human ego, that you have to be somebody in order to be somebody. So that is to the universe, that is exactly the most ridiculous thing. And anybody that educates themselves in this system is educating themselves not to be smarter or to be better than others or to have more knowledge, but they being educated to be aligned with the lies and whatever they prepare this thing where they prepare humans to follow this model. You know what I'm saying? In society to control everyone. And the most you educate yourself in this human society, it's the more you are alive in control by the elites, that control the world.
So they're saying they're the boss, and we're just all subjects to them, and they have the rules and regulations, and we need to follow. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but not them exactly. It's somebody else who's behind the curtain. Somebody else that is directing our governments. Somebody else that are our leaders. Even though they look harmless, they have a purpose. They have an agenda, and they take people like lambs, from one place to the other, in the direction they want us to go.
So they didn't tell you which species was in control of the earth. These are kind of like that's what I get. They're like the delivery system. They take me, they return me. But I've had other experiences with other beings that are the ones that are really in control. But have you had any experiences with their bosses, with the little white grays? Have you met their bosses or any interaction with their bosses?
Well, I don't know exactly what I met, but what I can tell you is that when you are in that level, everyone is in the same page. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is what happened to me when I have these experiences. I said I'm going to have a video camera, I'm going to have a recorder, I'm going to have a proof of some kind to bring to people to make them believe me, for the world. And because I denied myself for so many years that I said I have to bring something back, and I was like always thinking about it. And I was really prepared sometimes. And you know what happened? Once that you have this communication with them, it's like you don't care anymore. You don't care if anybody believes you. You don't care about bringing any proof because everything seems so normal to you. You are part of this universe. We are all. They are part of the universe. You are part of the universe. We are all in the same page. We're supposed to be in the same page. The only ones that are not in the same page are the humankind. and because we all want to do our own thing. And if you see somebody, like you might have a mansion with 10 rooms, and you see a homeless across the street from your house, you will never bring that homeless into your house, because you imagine I'm going to have trouble, I'm going to have issues with this person, I don't want a drug addict in my house or a thief or something, and that's the way we think to protect ourselves, to survive from whatever we expect. And that's not the way they see it. That's not the way they see it. They don't see having things for themselves, you know. Everything is belong to everyone. You know, like, I don't want any refugees in this country. Why don't you want refugees in the country? We are all humans. Why don't we want to help somebody? He's a human being like you. They don't understand that concept, you know, because they are all one. They're all together. They don't say this is mine and it's not yours. You know what I'm saying? And
so they're in unity consciousness, and we're in separation consciousness. I've actually been where you are in these worlds of unity consciousness, and there's nothing to fear. There's absolutely nothing to fear, right, because everyone is one. But if you walk down the street anywhere in any part of the world, there's always separation. So we don't realize it because we're normal human beings, but we actually have stressors just going out into the world because of that sense of not self, you know, of other person and divisiveness. But when you're in a total world where it's all unity consciousness, it's an amazing sense of peace. It's like, wow. There's zero fear, no fear.
That's true.
Is that what you're experiencing?
Mm-hmm, that's true, and you don't need to bring any proof. It's like you have the camera, you can take the picture, you know, go ahead and take it. But then in your head, your consciousness is like higher than a little human to bring a proof back to the world. It's like, I don't need to bring any proof because this is so natural. This is so real that everybody should be in the same page, but we're not. When you come back to Earth with your own skin, then you go, damn, why didn't I bring that, you know, that piece of information, that proof? You know, to show my best friend, to show somebody so somebody believes me. And it's like, when you have the chance, you don't do it because you don't feel the need. But when you come back to reality, this reality that we have is like, I should have bring something. I should have bring something. And, but we don't do it. It's something that I went through hundreds of times, that I wanted to bring something, proof. And that's why you don't see any proof. You
had a camera? They allowed you to take a camera with you? Is that what you're saying?
No, I had cameras before it happened. When I already know it's going to happen, I had cameras in front. I even bought a recorder to start recording whatever happened at the moment. Some people have tried and they have done it. I heard. I haven't seen it, but I heard that some people have done it. But when that happens, it's like you don't care anymore. It's like, I don't care to have proof. I don't care to anybody believes me.
Did you ever get like the trail cameras, the deer cameras, so you don't have to think about it? It just will record once action starts?
I don't think it's going to work because, remember, they just don't walk into your room like humans do. They walk into your room in different ways. It could be a program and you're not seeing them exactly. You're just seeing their image. But the image brings with them this technology that anything that is electric around interferes and it doesn't let it work. You know, it doesn't let any of those things work. Sometimes they're real, but if you are in the woods or something and they're real in front of you and you can touch them or something, or they touch you or grab you or whatever, then it's real. But sometimes they're not real. They're just like computer imaging, you know, that they're not there. It's just like one of those, how do you call them? Computer-generated images.
Do you have a question, Sasha? Go ahead.
No, I think that, the evidence is you and me and the people of California that feel our oneness, that we love our immigrants and we realize this is the best thing that ever happened to us, and it's wonderful. Something's being born and it's growing and it's here at the same time as the oppression. But this wonderful thing is happening. That's my impression.
Yes, that's true.
So, all right. So you weren't able to record him, and very few people. I don't know if anybody's really got any.
You guys are the proof.
So all we can do is bring back our testimonials. So it says here. Oh, sorry, the screen just blanked out. That they were telling you that mankind is too violent and must change its ways. Did they give you any suggestions on what we need to do to correct that?
Well, their messages are so powerful that they don't go to your human understanding. They go to your subconscious, your consciousness. It's like when you are an obedient child, your parents tell you don't cross the street if you don't see like the green light. And some kids listen and some of them don't. So they want us to talk to the ones that listens. The ones that don't listen, then that's their business. You cannot force anyone. You cannot push anyone. You just know in your heart that whatever message I'm bringing from them is a reality. You don't need me to convince you, that this is true. When you hear it in your heart and in your mind, you are the one who's going to make the change. You have the power to say yes and no. And they talk to those people. They don't care about those don't want to listen to, and we remember with one person, the change can start to work to our favor, and that's how they operate. They don't want to force anyone. I'm talking about the benevolent beings because they have evil beings. So
you're a listener, though. You're one that's receptive. Do you have any, and I understand what you're saying. They give you concepts, and they're very advanced concepts. And it's taking me years until they've started to take me to other planets to see how their social systems are working. Just like you're saying, everybody has unity consciousness. So they're showing me some transitional realities where we can go from this current violent system to one where we love each other in unity consciousness. And then I'm doing what I can to translate that down into words and systems. And it's hard because, humanity is so set in its ways, and they think they're right and they know it all. They don't even acknowledge alien presence. But these extraterrestrials that I interact with have such high consciousness, and their civilizations are so profound, it's hard to translate. But I just wondered if you're getting similar messages, like through examples, not really, by rote, but through examples. Like, here's how you can move from this violent way to one that to a civilization that they might be able to invite to join the Federation, so to speak. Come into a larger system of planets that are in cooperation. Because right now we are definitely still at the level that we'll shoot if we see them. But I think there are some people on this planet that are at the ambassador level, but there's too few to make a major change. But you sound like an ambassador, and I just wonder what you're getting. And if you
yes,
transmute it.
That is correct. Yes, in my position and all my experiences that I had in the past, I believe that I'm some kind of expector, someone who's around to see what they are up to, what humanity is up to, and bring that information, not with my human words, because it's going to be corrupted. Our DNA is corrupted, and whatever comes out of humans is corrupted. We always trying to make a profit for ourselves. So, or some benefit. We always trying to get some benefit out of something. That's the human, the human, kind of way of seeing things. If you don't give me this, then I don't give you that. So in order for me to be a perfect informant of this species, what I do is whatever information I have with my ears and with my eyes, it goes into my consciousness. And when I meet them, they download this or upload this information into their consciousness. So in other words, I don't come with my opinion. I'm just a simple seer who sees everything and brings it to them without any corruption. You know, I don't put my thoughts into it. I just bring the information as it is, you know, and for whatever I see, it's not like I'm going to go into the news and find out what happened yesterday in Washington. No, because the news is corrupted too. So what happened there is that that what I'm doing is bringing in the information without any corruption at the higher level, where I don't say anything and I don't give my opinion. I just share what I see with my eyes and what I hear with my ears. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. And we are coming up on the break. That's what that ding was about. We'll get the break in about 30 seconds. But, so they're registered, they're like, registering what you see and hear on an emotional level, energy level. And it's not like you have to convey through a language or anything else. So that's fascinating. I too report things. I guess I'm a spy.
That's what I feel. That's the way I feel.
We'll be back in 5 minutes. That's our commercial break. We'll see you in 5.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week. Yes. But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting. Yes, I see. By a civil majority in the case of purely internal affairs. Be quiet. But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more... Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look! Just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, and stupidity.
I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs.
Roundtable Live, Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind, bring your ideas, bring your voice. King Arthur had nothing on us here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com.
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another extra big-ass fries?
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having
trouble.
Come on.
My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener-supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, it hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents, and the offline home canning how to do everything website all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life, it goes in eternity.
Thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we are listener-sponsored and commercial-free. But there still are bills to pay. In order to raise some needed funds to cover the cost, our station is offering a silver special. In the continental United States for a $60 donation, or in Alaska, Hawaii, or Canada for a $70 donation, we will send you an uncirculated 2018 1-ounce pure silver eagle. The $70 donation, the extra 10 is to cover shipping, by the way, outside of the continental United States. When making the donation, you must put Silver Eagle promo in the notes on the donation. And thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at revolution.radio and freedomslips.com. Without you, there is no us. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home, and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse, and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Aloha and welcome back to Sacred Matrix on Revolution Radio, and I'm your host, Janet Carol Lessin, with my co-host, Dr. Sasha. Alex Lessin, our producer, is Thomas Becker, also known as the Mad Painter, and our guest today is Carlo S. Carnevalini. Okay, sorry. Before we get back to our show, which is really amazing, I want to remind everybody to please go over to that donation button on revolution.radio and make your donation, because we really need your donations to pay the bills to keep us broadcasting. And we do thank you very much for making your donation. And Thomas Becker, Mad Painter, we don't have any specials or anything going on right now, do we?
No, ma'am. We've got $770 so far for this month, and we need about $2,000 yet. So please donate.
So please donate. Okay, wonderful. And Sasha, what would you like to say before we bring back Carlo?
Yeah, it's very interesting. One thinks of those people just giving orders in that kind of fashion as being resonating a part of ourselves, which Stuart Swerdlow, who got into the deep CIA documents, is basically at the Council of Hatona, when the Dracos and the Lyran refugees were just warring it out at the Council of Hatona, they decided that they would make proto-humans. And one reptilian race involved in Earth and 12 Lyran or humanoid races contributed. And what the reptilians gave us was our brain stem, our automatic fight or flight, noticing who's on top of the hierarchy and all that. And that's built into the Homo erectus that the Anunnaki, who are pure Lyrans, used to make the zygote of the Adam and the first Eve. And so that we all have reptilian inside of us also. So we can't empathize with them. But what the other side of that is, they also have the capacity to feel us, because any relationship goes two ways. And when your heart's full of love, like yours is, I can tell, they get that from you. You're giving them something. It's not just that you're receiving. That's what I think.
Right. And so I wanted to focus the second hour on your book, Into the Dimensions, and what's behind the title. And I also, I was reading how you consciously, you ended your 14-year marriage so you wouldn't drive your beloved wife crazy with your continuous experiences. And I'm so glad, Sasha, that you didn't divorce me. and I really appreciate you staying with me. And I understand that was a loving intent, but oh my goodness, that had to be heartbreaking to end your marriage so she wouldn't be tortured. Was she really not handling it well? What was going on there?
Well, I think that when I start experiencing these revelations with evil beings as well as benevolent beings, I was really frightened for her. And that what brought me separate my relationship with her, because she didn't even know she was involved in it. It's like if you are a part of the mafia, and you know what? If you don't pay back, they go and shoot your family and you. And that's the same thing. It's the same concept here. These beings, evil beings, were trying to contact me. They were trying to win me to their side, and they already got involved in my relationship. My wife never noticed. I never told her. I only told her a little bit of the truth, but I didn't tell her that what was happening around her, that they were trying to get her involved in this when she wasn't even chosen, because nobody that is not even chosen can be a part of this plan. And if they choose her, is to harm her. And it's not because the people who are chosen, like me and others like you and other people, we have like this seal that they can't break us down. They can't kill us or do harm to us, because we are like untouchable, in other words, to them. And
right.
if they bring somebody in that is not part of that circle, it's just to torture that person or destroy this person. And I'd rather just, stay away from that. When I saw my wife being a part of this plan, you know what I'm saying? She was being a part of this plan, and I hated to see that the person I love the most in my life, more than life itself, more than myself.
What did they do to What did they do to my? One night they took my second husband. My husband, Sasha, right now is my third husband. So they took my second husband, and that's when I had that same realization that, oh no, it's okay to take me, but don't take. But they took him. Now he never knew, and I didn't tell him what had happened, but I was totally aware when he was gone. But it definitely affects your relationship. They start. It just starts falling apart. Your relationship starts falling apart.
Yeah.
When it happens like that way. So what happened to your wife? What were you aware that they were doing to her?
Well, she disappears sometimes. I wake up and she's not there. And I know what happened. It's not like she was running out with another guy. I know what happened exactly, because at the moment when I saw the lights in my room, I saw her next to me. and then I didn't see her. So it's that easy, you know, and it started happening. And if I told her, she was going to be scared or think that I was completely nuts. And, you know, my fight every day of my life before now, because now I don't care. Anybody thinks I'm crazy. I really don't care anymore. You know, I'm up to this age where I really don't care. I'm telling my truth, and anybody's welcome to listen to it. And whoever doesn't want to listen, I don't care. But my wife was somebody that believed me. She believed me 100% whatever I told her, and I didn't want to scare her to death. I didn't want to bring her into this drama that I was living since I was a kid. I never thought that I was.
What did you tell her? What your reason for a divorce? What did you tell her?
I told her something that I knew it was going to end our relationship. I told her that she wasn't somebody that I had planned in my life to be with me for the rest of our life. I knew I couldn't be more rude than that or nastier than that because she didn't deserve it. But I knew that if I tell her that she wasn't the one I thought that she was going to leave, you know, and that's what happened. I only told her, you are not the person I thought you were for me, to spend my life with you for the rest of my life. I don't think you are that person. And I knew she was going to walk away. That's simple. We never had any fights before. We love each other to the end, until the end. And when we got divorced, the judge told us, I never seen such a loving couple and respectful to each other. Why are you guys getting divorced? And so tears came out of my wife's eyes, and I almost break down too. But I have to take a decision. You know, I have to make this decision. It was the hardest decision in my life. But I know that she's happy now. She's remarried, and she has a happy life, and I'm happy that I helped her through all the way to the end. You know, I was there for her until she already didn't need me anymore. And that's what I thought it was the first thing to do for the person you love the most in your life.
Well, that's wonderful. So your book has, I think it says 14 experiences that you focused on, this first book. Mm-hmm. What is the most important thing that you want to convey to our listeners? Because you know what's the most important thing you want them to know.
Sure. One thing that I forgot to include was on the beginning of the interview or in the middle of the interview when I was here in Los Angeles and I was abducted, and the big tall being told me to see what was going on in the earth. And I looked through, like I told you, the earth was in front of me and I didn't see it until this being told me, look. And I look, and that's when I saw thousands and thousands of alien ships, alien craft going into the world. They were flying to the world, invading our world. And there were thousands and thousands and countless of alien ships that I saw. And that was like really, really scary because I knew that was darkness to the earth. Darkness and... Was that
real time or that was the future? I'm getting confused.
Say that again?
Was that happening when you were looking, or was that a vision of the future?
That has been happening since the story of man. You know, since we were created. It's like he was telling me this is what happened to your world. You know, it's invaded by these beings. This is the darkness that is upon you, and this is what's been going on since the beginning of the times.
Were these all dark beings, or were there any good beings? I think we've had interactions with aliens since day one, right?
That is correct.
I think that's what happens with all the planets. It's like a open spaceport, and they're coming and going all the time, and they have an agreement not to interfere with the indigenous races so they can develop and become conscious on their own. Something like the Star Trek Federation. But you're getting the impression that it was a negative thing. I got the impression that when they do disclosure, they have so many thousands of ships they could literally visualize, show a ship over each and every city in the world, and everybody would see it simultaneously. That could be disclosure. That was a vision I got about 3 years ago. You want disclosure? We'll do it all at once, and there'll be no doubt. We are here. So, but you're saying that was a negative thing, and I'm curious about that. What made that negative?
My understanding was that they are the big brothers, whoever was with me at that moment, that they were the big brothers and they were in charge of protecting Earth, regardless of what's going on. In other words, even though they're protecting us and they're here to protect the world, the creation that God made, this can be stopped. This being go in and out because they have to do it. They have this. They also have a right to leave. And I imagine that the only thing is that we are not going to get worried that we're going to be destroyed by them. In other words, everybody lives under this roof, and everybody must live a happy life the way they are. That kind of respect. But if we are afraid that they're going to kill us or destroy the world or something, they can't do that because we already have these big brothers that they're watching over the world, and they have these people under control. It's like a disease. You get an injection and, you're being helped. You resist the disease. And that's what they are. They protecting, they are in charge of this world, and these beings come here and we can do nothing about it, but we don't have to fear because we are protected. And not only that, but I also had this understanding where, this human body is something that we just need to use it to be in this world. But we are eternally conscious beings. We never die inside. Whatever is inside these bodies never dies. And that's who we truly are. So for us as humans and a small mind, and the way we see things is a tragedy that they killed this body. And we're never going to see our families again, and all this rest of feelings that come in and out of our minds, because we are people that we just believe whatever we see in front of us, but we don't believe the way we truly are. We are eternal beings that we have to see past that and know that we can die in this world, but we're not dead. We still exist in another dimension, right. But we are everlasting.
So there's really nothing to fear. If they were going to take over and kill us, they would have done it already. We're more valuable to them alive than dead. They like this human form. They want it to continue. But if they decide that this model is obsolete and they're going to wipe it out, we'll just be in a different model or a different planet, or we exist. No matter what, we exist. So we go somewhere. Is that what you're getting? That's what I kind of get.
Yes, that's what I'm getting. And also this, I oppose to mention the word UFO because I'm an experiencer. I'm somebody that is being inside. I've been inside these motherships and spacecraft, and people keep talking about UFO, and that's not a UFO. That's a real spacecraft right there that they have in front of you. Some people they witness them. And we cannot be calling them UFOs anymore because we already know what they are. And these are motherships and a spacecraft from another world, so we have to call them the way they are.
What's it like inside the mothership? The one that you were in? I've been in a number of motherships. What did they look like? Or what were they like?
The first one is the one I talk about about that story in my book, the UFOs. Invasion, that to me is a mothership because it was a huge, humongous place where they can go in and out from their place, and they don't have beings, only those 12 beings. They have all kinds of beings. They have different forms, and also when I was taken in another story in my book where I am taken into another mothership. And they have exactly what humans have in this world, that we have labs, and they have how do you call it? different rooms where they do one thing in every room, one different thing, that they need to do to attend Earth, to attend diseases and to attend to all the things, the evil things that are being done on Earth, and they need to protect Earth, and that's what they do in every room in their motherships. I remember one occasion I was in one of them, and I have all these people with red hair and white skin, and I was the only darker person with dark hair, and I was the only one, and I said, what am I here for? And they told me I was part of that. In other words, that was my group. That was my people right there. And I didn't understand that, because I said, if I'm a Latino-looking person, I should be with the Latino-looking crowd, not in this crowd. And I didn't understand that at the moment, but sometimes it's not like exactly, they don't value us like for skin color or for the race. They value you for the family, the seed,
Right. So they don't see the same races and things that we do here. They know who you are as a soul, and so that's your group.
Mm-hmm.
You're not categorizing you based on your appearance. That's your group based on who you're connected to. What were you going to say, Sasha?
I just wondered, did they introduce you to any children that they said you were the father of?
I was telling my friend Peter, which is the editor of my book, I was telling him that I had that experience where I was put in a room with this hybrid being, and to have relationships with her, sex with her. And to me, it was the most repulsive thing that I ever seen, and I don't remember. I truly don't remember. I don't know if I imagine, I told them, I imagine that I being used for them, because I read about people saying that they had children and they were used for reproduction and whatever, but I cannot tell you that because I never been told that I have any children. But I remember one occasion when I was fully aware, and of course I was under their trance where they capture your body and you can only do whatever they tell you, and that goes up against your will. And I remember I was repulsed by the look of this hybrid. And I said, this is now not what I want. I don't want to do this. And I remember then I don't have any memory of that, but I remember I was with this being in the bed, so it's like, I don't even know if they have, sexual organs or something. I don't know how is it that they do reproduction, because we don't seem to be similar, but then again, I guess we share a DNA with them. So they have to have something in order to reproduce with us. And, but I can't say that I positive about what went on in that moment in time. I just remember that I had that story in my head that came out after my therapy.
Well, they don't always require copulation to retrieve the necessary DNA or samples in order to recreate with a human. And they can also they can combine DNA from many different species. Like they can do a gray human mantis reptilian Anunnaki combination. They can pull whatever DNA they want from whoever they want it from. But some humans have experienced copulation, which is really bizarre. I only have one recollection of copulating, and it's like a rape. Yeah, you can be saying no in your mind, and it just happens, and there's not much you can do about it. So, but anyway, if you did have a rape, you didn't remember it, so be thankful that you didn't remember it.
Yeah.
It is quite, it's a very, destabilizing to remember it. It's like, oh my God, if you're going to do that, wipe my mind clean, because I've known all along that they can wipe your mind. It's like, I don't want to, but, well, that's interesting, yes. Okay, so let's see, we have about a half an hour, maybe a little bit less. What are the most important episodes that we need to focus on in this last remaining part of the show?
Well, I think in my case that they don't take anyone who's not part of their plan. They have an agenda, I imagine, and they just don't take anyone. But if they do, it's by accident, by some way that they didn't have planned. These beings are not like humans that we act sometimes like animals do, that they act by instinct. Sometimes humans, we act by instinct, and they don't. Whatever they do is already planned. They're not just going to go around like people, like stories that I have heard, that they go around and they pick just anybody, and they capture these people and they do things to them. That's not the way they work. They work already planning everything that they do, every movement, everything is planned. It's not something that they just, hey, let's go and pick up these humans and do things to them to scare them or whatever. No, they're not gonna do that. They already have plan and they have an agenda, and we are part of those plans. People like me and you and other people, That's
right.
one.
I heard that they, from other experiencers, that they basically will take everybody, and then when they find the right, I don't know what they're looking for, the blood type or the personality or the soul, or they'll test everybody and then they'll select you at a certain point for their, whatever program. So, and that's why they start so young, like they got you at 5.
Yeah.
But they don't select everybody. So you have been selected by extraterrestrials because you qualify in whatever their, qualifying characteristics are. You have it. So, Sasha, you have a question? Okay. So you've been selected, and you don't really have any idea what their agenda is with you.
Yes, I have an idea. Like I said,
go ahead.
I told you earlier that I thought that I was a witness. They using me as a witness. I think that my family, because they do these abductions by family. They select a family, and that comes from the beginning of time when they selected this family, because you already know that we all have our DNA already in written inside our bodies, so similarly.
Do you know what your DNA is? It like in a blood type, or do you know what DNA they're looking for that they selected you? We're trying to find it out as a group. Like, what is it? Some people say it's RH negative, but that doesn't seem to apply across the board. It's not based on race. It seems to be something that we can't quite figure out why they select one person, not another. Do you have any ideas on that?
Well, my idea is that they choose a family from the beginning. For some reason, they have these families already selected from the beginning of humankind, and they just go by this family. To me, I have an implant inside of me. That's what I believe, because I have moved from different places and they always find me. They always find a way to find me. And in other words, I'm not unnoticed by them. Wherever I go or move, that's what they are. Sometimes I go so far away and so in a hidden place or whatever, and they find me. So I imagine that they already are selected too, to follow your family. And I'm into that place where they chose me to be a witness of things, that are happening, because they have taken me to other worlds near this solar system, and that's the way I feel. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to say that I know what I'm talking about exactly, but I know that it's got to be around here in this neighborhood, that they take me to this kind of seminars. They have this kind of seminars or trainings, and I have seen people from different times, like people from 200 years ago, 800 years ago, thousands of years, or hundreds of years ago, or into the future. I have seen all kinds of people in there, and you can tell they all have different time. They come from different times, different.
That's fascinating. I've never heard that before. That's, Yeah, I just want to add that wherever I go, they find me too. So it's like I either have a tracking base, but I think they might be tracking based on our soul signature or DNA signature. We have a signature.
Yes.
But you're saying you went to a place and they took people from various times. So
Yes.
how did you know there were different times? Was it their dress?
Costumes, yeah.
Their dress?
Yeah, they're dressed in different times, and you can tell that each one of them, they have wisdom. They all wise people. They just don't pick anyone. Let's go and pick these 5 people that are walking down the street. No, they pick only the wise people, and they're all wise in there. And you can tell. I mean, I can tell these people are wise. The way they walk, the way they address themselves, and the way they act, you can tell these are wise people. And I was there.
Did any of them speak ancient Spanish or Italian or Latin that was different, but you could understand it?
Everything was done through telepathy. You know, there was an understanding. Once that I joined the group, I knew I wasn't part of the group. I knew I was there to witness that, to make sure that I knew that they have these people that are chosen among time, in different times, from different times and eras from this earth. And these people, for some reason, they get this kind of training, this kind of meetings, and they meet up and they speak to the higher being, which is, to me, is God. And they also have this information downloaded into them, and they are there, and I was a witness to that, and they take me. That's what I've been doing all my life. They take me to these places to witness things. So when I come back to them, they upload this information from me, and that's what I believe, that I'm a witness. I'm a witness of something that is going to happen, and I'm just going to be there like a jury, you know, like a jury person, you know, like going to be there to give testimony or to vote or something for something. And we all have our jobs, you know, our duties. That we just not picked up for nothing. We picked up because they have a purpose.
Great.
So the bad guys were trying to suborn you, to turn you against them, against the people that have been educating you.
What people that is educating me?
The ones that you are witnessing, that goes in as a positive education about how things are done. And then there's these other ones that wanted to infiltrate using your wife as a hostage. You know, and so that's what I was thinking about.
The negative faction. Yeah. You mentioned there were negative aliens and positive aliens. And so I wonder I want to learn more about that. But before we go into that, so these people that you're seeing, did you recognize any, were there any famous people like Einstein or Tesla, or did you recognize anybody that?
To be honest with you, there were thousands of people that, all of them were males. There was no female in there. All of them were male.
No wise women.
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that those are my conclusions of what I saw. That's the conclusion of what I saw, that these people was wise, and they were all male, and they all were, most of them, all of them were in their 50s. You know, it's not like somebody was young. Everybody was in their 50s, but they still look young. They look healthy, and they were from different cultural backgrounds, different races, and all of them were male. You know, male.
They're all human.
They all look human. I don't know if they were human, but they look human to me. And
they look human. Okay, they look human. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could be human, but not from this planet. So they were all Terrans. They were all Earthlings, maybe.
But they all bearded?
Yeah, they all bearded, yeah. They were all bearded.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they all have gray hair.
You've been there too.
They all have gray hair. They were older. like I said, in their 50s, and wise people. They were all wise people.
Yeah. And there were thousands of them. Wow. Okay,
yeah,
so back to you said that there were dark, evil beings, and they were. Well, how did you know they were evil, and how did you know they were good? How would you know that?
Because like I told you before, when you get into this higher level of consciousness, you don't need somebody to tell you what's going on. Okay, I'm here, and all I do is tell you, look, and then you look, and you already know what's going on. It's not like I have to give you any information. In other words, human beings, we waste words. In order for us to transmit communication to others, we have to speak and waste a lot of words and do a lot of efforts. With these people, once that you get into their consciousness, all you need is to be there, and you already know everything. You don't need to go and find out why this, why that, because you already know it. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So you can just be trying to find out, trying to get any information from them. You know what I'm saying? You have to, you already know you have this information in you, implanted in you. It's another level of consciousness. It's another, you are in another level of consciousness. You are not in this human mind, which is limited.
So we're getting towards the end of the show. And I'm looking at Mrs. Farnsworth Rhapsody. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's the hybrid alien I told you about, that she gave me all this information. She's the one who has a friendship with me since the beginning, and I didn't even know. I knew that I know her once that I saw her, because I don't remember 100% everything of my experiences, but when I am in that experience, I do remember. Everything comes to mind. So when I saw this being, I already knew I knew her, and I already knew she was a female, and she already knows about my body going into these contractions and fears, and because most of the time they don't take me in this body, they take me in another body that I heard people call them light body suits, and that's the body I had. I have this purple body. Sometimes I have my human body. So I imagine that when I have my human body, this spacecraft is inside the Earth. But when I have my light body is when they take me out of my body, and they take only my consciousness and put it in this avatar kind of body. So in order for me to survive that atmosphere or that place where I'm going, and she transferred all this information into me, telling me that humans are what we are, defected DNA, and that's the reason we act this way. But the purpose of us is to bring goodness into the world. It doesn't matter if anybody feels that they have to follow what you're saying. You just tell it, and the people who's chosen is going to be awakened. So the ones that are chosen, they're going to awake. The other ones are not going to awake because they're not chosen. And that's the most difficult part, when you see that people doesn't think like you about goodness, about trying to do good for the world, trying to love their enemies. It is tough. Yeah, I have my battles too, I have my battles. I'm a human being. And when I come to this body, I have these battles as well. But the important thing is to know it in your heart, to know it in your mind. And then the battle, you have your own battle. And you have to be fighting your battle until the end, because that's the purpose of this life, that we have to fight this battle until the end, because we don't accept evil. We think that that's the way we are, that I want to do my own thing. I want to save my money. I want to keep it for myself. I'm not going to share with anyone. I want to be rich. I want to have this money when I'm old. And you don't think about anybody. You can see anybody dying next to you, and you don't care anymore, because they should have been working like you to get their money, to get their, and that's the selfishness of human being. We don't break down for the pain of other brothers and sisters in this world. We just don't care. We see that people is dying of hunger in Africa, and we don't care. We just throw food. We don't care. We throw it in the garbage, and we don't care. That's their problem. And then.
So what did you get from this that we can do? Because there are people that care, and there's a lot of good in the planet. I know people tend to focus on the negative news and all the crap. There you go. People are dooming and glooming, but there has to be something we can do to grow this positivity on this planet. Like she said here in your book, page 222, do not underestimate yourself. And on 223, she said, we are not your redeemers. So what did she mean by that? Do not underestimate yourself. How do you underestimate yourself, Carlo? What are you doing?
When we think that we don't have the power to change anything, that when you are a human being, you have the power. You brought the power with you. It's like if you are a soldier, when they send you to war, you already have your gear. You go to war. You can just go to war with nothing. I'm going to go to war and I'm going to fight with my words and my thoughts. You're going to be dead in 1 second. So you go with your gear. And that's when you are a human being, you already come with your gear. You have your brain, you have your mind, you have your decision, you have your free will, you have your voice. You can voice things. You have your hands, you have your ability, you have your intelligence, you have your feet. You have your gear.
Well, what was she saying to you? It seemed like a personal thing. You're using the global. She was saying to you, Carlo, do not underestimate yourself. What was that message to you personally? What more can you do?
Well, because I never expected that I had, like I told you, when I was a child, I thought I was a joke because I saw things that nobody else seen. My parents didn't pay attention when I told them this is what happened to me. This is what I see. This is what I disappeared one time, and I was lost, missing for hours. And when I got home, I found my parents worrisome in the house. My father was crying. The police was there, the paramedics and everybody, because they thought somebody have abducted me and killed me. And I reappeared like a block away from my house. I don't know how I got there, but I was healthy and safe and sound. And everybody, the police, the rescue people and all those, and the nosy neighbors that were around the house, they all took home. They saw me and they say, oh, he's alive. Look, he's there. And everybody walked away. And my parents say, oh, thank God. They kissed me and they hugged me, but they didn't ask me what happened to me. Nobody asked me. And I was telling my friends the story of what happened to me. They didn't want to listen to me. So I always thought I was a joke. I thought that I was schizophrenic. I thought that nobody will believe me. So I was underestimating myself. I thought that when I talk the truth, when I tell everybody what happened, they will not believe me. So I was underestimating myself. Like I said, the story of the soldier, it has its gears, but if you don't have the gears, you're going to be shot and dead immediately. So the same thing, if I don't put into words to whatever I saw, whatever I live, my experiences, then nobody will have the chance, to know what's going on. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to write my book, even though I didn't want to write it, because I thought, like I said, I thought I didn't have any power. I thought I got to speak and people was going to make fun of me. And I didn't want to be in that situation. And thank God.
So how have you been received since you wrote your book? When did you write your book? When did you finish? When did you get it published?
I got it published in November 2018. And republished again because we have a little issue with the book in February of this year. And some people that have read it, they call me and send me messages and say that they like my book and that they trust whatever I'm saying is true, and that they give me positive words, and I'm happy for that, because I always wanted to be a writer, but not about this kind of books. I never thought I was going to write a book like this. And but I thought one day that I have to do it because I was being told that I have to tell the truth. I have to speak up and bring it to everybody, whoever wants to read it. And I feel a lot of positive.
So you're getting a good reception of your book, and people are inviting you to speak. Have you been invited to conferences to speak?
Not yet. To be honest with you, I'm like very shy person. It doesn't matter if I don't sound like it right now, but I'm very. It takes me a long time.
You don't want to speak.
I not yet. I don't feel that I have.
Not yet.
Yeah. I have to have more time for that. I'm the kind of person who likes to be behind the curtain. You know what I'm saying? Hidden in a corner.
Okay.
That's the kind of person I am. I don't feel that I'm ready yet.
Okay, well, we're not rushing you. I think you will eventually get up there, and then you'll find it to be very freeing. But it is the first time it's kind of terrifying because you're raw and vulnerable. But if you do it the right setting, you're going to be set free. So, Sash, your turn.
Well, it seems to me that, first of all, I love your analysis. And you got such clarity, and you can explain it so good. From my perspective, too, the function of evil is to arouse in you the particular evils that really bug you. If injustice bugs you, then justice becomes your the evil. And so whatever it is where you see consciousness being disrespected and people suffering, that arouses you, so that even the travail that we feel, I think, is part of divine plan, and it's perfect because we are rising to, as we are right at this moment. This is like a time. We're aligned in a certain way, and it's time for those that are feeling the calling to come forth and speak. And it's a wave, and it's cool. That's what I think.
Yes, I feel the same way. I feel you. That's right.
So, what do you think Mrs. Farnsworth meant by "we are not your redeemers"?
Or that we are the only one who have the power to do whatever it needs to be done. They are here to protect us and to help us, to help us find our way. But we are the only one who has the right to do and the right to exercise that power. They can just get involved. You know what I'm saying? We are the one who has that ability. They don't want to interfere. That's what happened. They're so respectful. They don't come here and say, we're going to do this because you cannot do it, so we're going to do it for you. No, that's not the way they work. The universe is in constant, they have this discipline, and they are in constant harmony, that they're not going to come here and tell us how to do our work. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take that decision, and we have to do it. We are the one who has to do that.
I think we have music and spirit and playfulness. That's what we have to offer, and sports.
Yes.
So did she say that? Did she tell you about their organization? Like, is this like the Federation? Do they have many worlds that are connected? Or were they a separate species operating on their own? What did you get any idea of the structure of since you saw how many different species? You saw a bunch of different species, right? Did you get any idea of how things are organized?
No, I wasn't explaining any of that. What I was explaining was that the universe is one. Everyone should, in other words, the only ones that don't fit in is the human beings, into this plan. So we have to develop this ability where we need to fit in. We need to fit in, and how is it that we fit into this harmony of the universe? Is practicing kindness and being humble, and do loving things towards our brothers and sisters, that we are not different races. We are one race. We are the human race, and that's how we to embrace the future of the world. If we don't do that, then we are doomed. We are doomed because we're choosing the wrong path. And I think that we have, I have met so many people that is so amazing, because before that I didn't see all these people. I saw a few people that were amazing, but after this consciousness, these revelations, and these experiences that I had, I have seen hundreds and hundreds of people that this is what the world needs. People that cares for others, they give their life for other people, people that dies for other, people that loves and want to do good things for other people. And every time I see more and more of that kind of people around me, and that is amazing. And I'm happy because I know that this is happening. We're not doomed.
Right.
We have good people out there.
Did they indicate any indication how we got to be the only species that has fallen so far from the unity consciousness of existence?
Well, it's not our fault
that humans did this.
Well, what happened is that we being contaminated from the beginning. The humans were made perfect. Humans were made perfect, and what happened was that we got our DNA contaminated, and that's why everything that is broken from the beginning, everything is going to be broken until the end. So the fighting battle is a spiritual battle. You're going to fight with your spirit, opposing to everything that is evil and is dark in your life. And you oppose, and that's like a silent protest, and you do that, and that's your battle until the end. And that's what we have to aim. We know we are broken and we cannot fix it. If something cannot be fixed, because it's already in our DNA, it's in our bodies. And like I said, we were perfect once, but we're not perfect anymore. So the perfection that we have to look is inside ourselves, because outside ourselves, we don't have that perfection. And once you know that in your mind and in your heart, things are going to start changing around you. And it does. Because believe me, I've been in deep, dark holes, and I come out splendid. I come out of there believing that God exists and that the truth exists and that the goodness is for humankind. We cannot be evil. We cannot be choosing darkness.
Right. Well, that's what I got. It's like this is the grand experiment for all of creation to further diversify existence, because if everything's perfect, then there's no resistance and there's no, co-creating. We're co-creating with Source, and so we agreed. It's like we're the heroes of existence. We agreed to go dark in order to generate more light. And so I guess, what do you want to say, Sasha?
Well, you can have differentiation and the tension of opposites to generate a dimension without having to go to the extremes of destructiveness. Once you learn how to center yourself in your awareness and fair witness.
Yes.
So, do they say anything? A lot of the experiencers, and we're down to our last 4 minutes. A lot of experiencers say that they witness, especially the early ones, mass destruction, the planet blowing up, or World War III. But I've seen it kind of be more contained, and we're not going to go there. And what do you see? Do you think we're going to end up with World War III, or are we gonna pull this one out of the fire and evolve with Gaia complete? I mean, I don't think she's going to like another war. What do you think is going to happen, Carlo?
Well, I think, I think that we are self-destructive, but I don't think we're going to end up in the self-destruction of this world. We just won't be able to do it because, like I said before, we have these companions, we have these beings that are watching over us, and they're not going to let us destroy this world. They're not. This world has a plan, and the plan has to go according to the way it was designed. So I don't believe that we're going to auto-destruct ourselves. It's not going to be possible.
I agree, but I have no proof. It's just like a feeling that, and every day I talk to doom and gloomers. I call them fear porn people, and it's like, oh, come on, really? Do we need to do that? I don't think so. Let's do something nice. Let's all love each other. Let's do kind things. What are you going to say, honey?
Well, it's not a matter of destination. It's a matter of the path. It's how you walk it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 minutes left. We're going to give it to you, Carlo. Tell us what you want our listeners to know about you and your work.
Oh, sure. About my book, you mean?
Yeah, anything you wanted to know, your website, your book, or whatever you have, how to contact you.
Yeah.
Your next book.
Everybody can contact me through Facebook under Carlo S. Carnevalini, and they can find my book in Amazon. And the free chapter is free. You don't have to buy the book if you don't want to, but you can read the free chapter. And if you like it, then continue by buying the book. We have it in electronic and paperback. And believe me, it took a lot of guts and a lot of thinking to write this book and to put it under scrutiny, because that's what people is gonna do when they read the book. They're gonna judge the book, and I hope that they judge it under positive ways, because it took me a long time. It took 8 years for me to publish the book, because I opposed to publish this book, but then I finally decided that I have to do it, and it's here for everybody to enjoy and to understand the goodness that there is out there in the universe for all of us, and to practice good among our brethren and our people and our neighbors, our friends and families.
And you have a second book. Oh, no, we're out of time. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Matt
for the show. Thank you.
Aloha.
Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
On the go? Still want to listen? Don't have one of those fancy phones with too many buttons. Don't know what an app is? Or you don't even care? Well, we got you here at Revolution Radio. Now you can dial in 24/7 to listen to our shows. We have a number for Studio A and Studio B, and best of all, it's free. Don't forget, your carrier charges for your cell phone provider may apply, though, so check with your cell provider to make sure. So ready? Here you go. Get a pen. Here's the number. Studio A is 712-432-6958, and Studio B is 716-748-0112. Thank you very much for listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station in the world.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Looking for a nightcap to fill your listening needs? Come join us on Spaced Out Radio with me, Dave Scott, right here on Revolution Radio. Monday through Friday for 3 hours a night, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we will take you down the supernatural path. From ET contact to the paranormal and all of the spiritual, cryptid, and conspiracy stories in between. You can find us right here on Revolution Radio, at spacedoutradio.com, on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and on Facebook at Spaced Out Radio Show. Spaced Out Radio. It's a night of talk and interaction. Are you experienced?
Hello, Karl Marx here. Look at my wonderful hair. Notice how I sweep it back.
Carl?
I call it the 360 sweep. Beard, sideburns, and the magnificent coif.
Carl!
What? What is this?
You're on the radio. They can't see you.
Oh, yeah, I get confused.
Want to learn more about the Marxist agenda and other important stuff? Listen to The Ultimate Remedy with L.B. Bork, Tuesdays 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Revolution Radio.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
Several years ago, I was developing a very severe situation. I called it my flippy heart. It was